What's going on, family? We are officially on the journey to 1 million subscribers, and my team and I are giving away $30,000 to help you pay off your consumer debt. That's right. 3 E3 community members will each get $10,000 to wipe out their consumer debt. Now, do you want in? It's simple. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my email list by going to anthonyoneal.com and clicking on the Join the Community tab. That's 100% it. Check this out. At 940,000 subscribers, we're surprising one lucky person live on my show with the first $10,000, and we're going to give that person a financial makeover before paying off their debt. So, before we get to today's show, hit that subscribe button and let's hit it 1 million strong before my birthday, July 1st. All right? Love you all. Let's get to the show.
The economy before the tariff mess was really, really strong.
It really was.
We were constantly setting records for all-time highs. So what we're looking at right now is a temporary issue.
I got a call from one of my good friends. She texted me and said, bro, I'm taking all my money out. I said, that is the dumbest thing you can do right now.
Because a lot of the times we see stuff on the news and we think that it doesn't apply to us.
Right. I call this a self-inflicted wound. Yeah. I mean, this is Trump's doing. This is him and his cabinet doing it. But how should everyday investors be thinking about their portfolios in light of these shifting trade dynamics?
You really have to. I talked to her about the importance of buying low, using bad news as buying opportunities. Millennials and maybe even the generation after them, the major mistake that they made was the
Courtney, man, welcome back to the show, bro.
Yeah, man, always a pleasure.
Yes, sir, man. Dude, your fiance, man, made a good suggestion, and I want to let the people know we're gonna have you on once a month.
Let's make it happen, man.
I think it's important for us to have this conversation, especially in 2025. I think people are wanting that practical things to do on how do I invest with $50, $100, $200. People don't really know what tariffs mean. So I think we need to bring in someone of your expertise who can come in with a different lens and really help us with the investing part. And one of the very first questions, technically it's a comment first, then it goes into a question. Because I have like some questions here that I want to rock with you on. We had a young lady on the show. Her name was Brittany. She's a huge business owner, and she said, man, her tariffs went from $5,000 to $61,000. Right?
Yeah.
To the people watching right now, when they hear something like that, they're like, okay, wait, why? What is a tariff? And how does that impact me as the individual? If the businesses are hit with a tariff, why is the tariff even impacting the stock market, right? So from your shoes, why do you think that is a problem, and how is that impacting us in America today?
Yeah, man, I'm glad you're asking this question, because a lot of the times we see stuff on the news and we think that it doesn't apply to us.
Right.
Even if we're interested in the stock market and making money, we don't always understand how some of the headlines can impact our ability to make money in the market.
Yeah.
And so it's good to be familiar with what's happening so you know how to move, right? And so in regards to tariffs, first it's important to understand what a tariff is.
Gotcha.
And I'll explain it to you like this. All right, so let's say you pull up at the club and the club is BYOB, okay? You can go in the club and you can buy drinks at the bar, but they do let you bring your own drinks in. So you pull up at the line, the bouncer says you can bring that in, but you gotta pay a fee to bring yours in.
Yeah.
And they charging you a fee because they want you to buy drinks in the club.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's exactly what a tariff is. So from the perspective of the US, if you wanna bring your products, your materials into our country, we're gonna charge you a fee because we want Americans to buy American-made products, right? It's to incentivize our industries versus allowing people from other countries to make money.
Yeah.
In theory, it makes sense. But look, man, like to be honest about it, the fact of the matter is the cost of living is insanely high in America, which means we have to pay certain wages. If we pay high wages, it makes our products and services cost more.
Yep.
So it drives up the cost of everything. right? That's the challenge.
Yeah. So how do we prepare for what's going on? Because if she went from $5,000 to $61,000, that's $55,000 more than what she planned for. Somebody got to eat that cost.
And it's not her. She not about to eat. She might be nice, man. She might have a big heart.
Right.
What I'm saying? She is a person of high character.
Yeah.
She's not eating that cost.
No, sir.
Her clients are gonna eat that cost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's just gonna drive up the cost of things. And that's what inflation is.
Yeah.
It's when we go to the grocery store and we see eggs is $50.
Yeah.
Like we know, we feel that. And that's what happens with the tariffs.
So do you think, are there any industries, companies that will honestly benefit from this, from the tariffs?
Yeah, there are companies and industries specifically that are benefit. So any industry where their products are domestically made, right? So they do their manufacturing in the state. They're going to do it. So one company that I think of is like Caterpillar.
Okay.
All right, Caterpillar, they sell and lease heavy machinery.
Yep.
They're gonna do well. Their products are made in the U.S.
So they're not doing none of their stuff from China. They're not getting none of their stuff from out of the country.
And if they do, it's very, very little.
Wow.
Yeah. So the companies like that will do well. Companies that are heavy in like infrastructure. So another one is like T-Mobile. They don't rely on a foreign supply chain at all.
T-Mobile has nothing out of the country.
They'll do well. Defense companies, we've been on here, we've talked about Palantir before. It's still a really, really strong company. They'll do well. But here's the thing, here's the problem with looking at it through that lens.
Mm-hmm.
We always talk about finding opportunities to buy low.
Yeah.
So the companies that are really, really thriving, I think Netflix, right? Netflix, it's a streaming platform. They don't have a product. They're not manufacturing anything.
Yep.
They're not reselling a product, right? Yep. It's all digital. Mm-hmm. So Netflix, which is just killing it, like they'll do well. But here's the issue. Those companies are doing well right now, and we want to buy low. So we really don't want to look for the companies that are thriving right now. We want to look for good companies that are really getting hit right now, that are going to be good for the long term. Because this tariff thing, it's negotiation. Okay. This isn't permanent.
Yes.
There's going to come a point to where deals are struck. We know that there's some conversations being had right now. Mexico, one of our biggest trade partners, they're working out some deals.
Yeah.
Some other smaller countries, they're working out some things. So there'll be a resolution. So what we really need to be focused on are the great companies that we can buy that are undervalued right now.
Now, I was looking at Amazon got hit hard. Yeah. Now, Amazon is, while they are a digital company, they still sell products from out of the country.
Yeah.
Am I thinking about that correctly?
You are. A lot of people who are selling products on Amazon, they're reselling those products.
Yes, sir.
They buy them from China, then they resell them on Amazon. And hey man, Amazon had come out and said that they were like, man, bump this. We finna let y'all know the tariff that you are now paying on your products. So they're gonna show it to you at checkout. So it's not them. Yeah. So they had announced that, and then the White House came out and really criticized them, said that it was a hostile political move. And so literally Trump called Jeff Bezos and was like, hey man, like, we're not finna have this. And so Amazon changed their mind. They're not gonna do it.
But they should have.
They should have, because consumers need to know that the higher prices, number one, they need to see the difference in the prices, but they want people to know they ain't charging higher prices to put the money in their pocket.
I call this a self-inflicted wound. Yeah. I mean, this is Trump's doing. This is him and his cabinet doing it. Why should Amazon lose customers or mislead their customers thinking like, hey, the price is going up because of us? No, it's price is going up because we're forced to pay this extra price.
Because consumers don't see the back end.
We don't.
When you pay a higher price, you think that place where you're buying the product is the reason for the increase. You think they're putting it in their pocket. And this is from a stock market perspective, but like even from businesses and brands that we support that may be small businesses.
Yeah.
There's small businesses that we support that are going to be hit by this as well.
Fact.
They're like amazing, cool founders that have brands and missions and stories. Maybe we buy their products on Instagram.
Facts.
And, you know, they are struggling to figure out solutions to this. You know, those, you talk about how everyday people are hit. Those entrepreneurs who are creative, that have strong brands, you know, they're going to be hit the hardest.
Yeah, man. Your fiance has amazing face thing. And it's called Holistic. We'll put that inside the show notes for y'all. Check it out. Because ladies, get your man this. Man, if you get it, give you a warning. Let her know before you buy it. You're buying it from Holistic. You don't want to get that. Put that in the shower. It's just like, what? Trust me, you don't want to do it. But I'm saying it because it's like, you know, I'm supporting, you know, your fiance with a great product, but I know that y'all are getting hit with that too as well with that. And I'm like, man, and she said, yeah, I'm getting hit with the tariff. I was like, dang, who's going to pay for that? I was thinking in my head, I was like, I'm going to have to pay for that. I'm going to have to pay more money over here, pay more money over there, pay more money over here. And it's like, I feel it. You said something about Mexico earlier. Mexico and China are the two people right now that we just need to come to grips with.
Yeah, we got to work it out.
We got to. Mexico, we're getting all of our fruit from Mexico.
Yeah.
Man, I went there. I'm on a new diet. And I said, why in the world did my apples just go up like this?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's crucial for America to come to a deal soon with China and with Mexico?
Yeah, so if you look at the top 20 companies where the U.S. has a trade deficit, that means that we are buying more of their products than they are buying of our products, right? So we have a trade deficit.
Yeah.
If you look at those top 20 countries where we have that trade deficit, the deficit with Mexico and China is 40% of that total deficit. All right. So where you have these heavier deficits, we gotta figure that out, because that's hitting us the hardest. You know, there's some conversation, there's a narrative, there's a viral video that's out there. There's like, 50 countries have reached out to start negotiations around their tariffs with the U.S. And it's like, oh, this is an amazing thing. This is the impact that Trump has had with these tariffs. And it's like, yeah, there are 50 countries, but I mean, the impact of striking deals with those 50, it really like pales into comparison of the deficit that we have with China and Mexico. So we got to figure that out.
No, we got to. And I literally have this question down right now. I really want to ask this one, because I think when we see this deficit, people are getting scared. People are moving out, and these are investors. How should everyday investors, because the last time you came on, you taught us how to invest with as little as $100 to $500, right? These are investors who started investing, and I think some of them may be scared. But how should everyday investors be thinking about their portfolios in light of these shifting trade dynamics?
You really have to, I need you to be excited.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I want you to be excited.
Yeah.
Because what we're seeing right now is some of the best opportunities that we're gonna get for a while, potentially. And I'm gonna give you an example. Google is a company that I love. I talked about Google the last time that I was here.
Yep.
This is the best time to buy Google. We haven't seen a better time to buy Google in like the last 3 years.
Okay.
There's some analytics and stuff that I ain't gonna bore y'all with that.
Yeah.
But this is the best time to buy Google in like the last 3 or 4 years. All right, so you wanna buy it. It's on sale.
Yep.
It looks good. We also talked about dollar cost averaging. It's where you buy a consistent amount of a stock or a mutual fund for a consistent period of time, every week, every month, whatever it is. Keep doing that, because right now during this time, prices are low. And this is where your average cost per share declines, because you're buying at lower prices.
Yes, sir.
Now, here's the other thing. I'm gonna say, for investors to find extra money, because when prices are low, you want to put more money in, because the economy before the tariff mess was really, really strong.
It really was.
We were constantly setting records for all-time highs. Yeah. So what we're looking at right now is a temporary issue, right? it's not a chronic disease, it's a virus.
Yes.
Once we cure this virus, we back healthy and we going back to the moon. So now, could it be possible that there's another issue that comes up? We got some tension between the president and the Federal Reserve chairman. People don't feel comfortable about that. Yeah, but right now, you want to buy as much as you can because at some point, all of this stuff is going to get resolved.
I got a call from one of my good friends. She texted me and said, bro, I'm taking all my money out. I said, that is the dumbest thing you can do right now.
Yeah, no.
If she was to call you, we got people right now who are scared, they're nervous, the market is going up, then it'll go down. We've had 2 or 3 days of just the market staying steady and going up, then it'll go right back down. And it'll go up, then it'll go right back down. I'll never forget when you text me, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was like, hey, yo, buy this. I literally called Angelica, told her to buy, put some money in there. Then the very next day, that stock dropped. And I was like, okay. Then the next day, it dropped some more. I said, Angelica, put a buy order on this thing. And if it drops below this, buy some more. She was like, you serious? I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I saw, instead of me getting scared because I just put money into it and I was losing money, I said, let me buy some more because it just went on an even better sale. What would you say to the people right now who they're nervous, Courtney? They don't make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They making 60 grand. She's a single mother with 2 kids. They may have a household of $75,000, husband and wife with 2 kids. They're already on that cuff of somewhat living paycheck to paycheck, but they got an extra $200, $300 that they're investing, but they're not seeing any fruit from the investing today.
Yeah.
What would be your encouragement to them?
Look, close the app, set your phone down, get off your laptop, cut off CNBC, just completely cut that crap off because it's distracting you.
Yeah.
Your focus needs to be on the long term, and these short-term moves don't matter for you because it's just gonna scare you.
Yeah.
All right? What you need to be doing is buying more. If you're not comfortable with buying more, just stay where you at.
Yeah.
Cut off the distractions. Don't even look at it. I had to tell my daughter, man. So my daughter, I've started allowing her to buy stocks through an app on her phone.
Okay.
And so after she bought the first one, she was checking it every day. She's like, oh, Dad, it went down. And the next day, Dad, it went down again. I was like, babe, you're 10.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have to worry about these drops every single day.
Right.
This is money you're going to have for when you go to college. This is money that you're going to have for when you're an adult. I was like, so we're buying really, really good investments that are going to do well in the long term. Close that out. Don't even look at it. We'll check it maybe in a month to see how it's doing.
All right, fam, let's have a heart-to-heart. You all know that I'm all about helping you get your money. But let me ask you this question. How's your credit report looking? And if you're being honest and you're saying, you know what, Ayo, I need some help, well, listen, I got something for you. Listen, I know credit can feel like this big, confusing thing, but with Kickoff, it doesn't have to be. They've designed a super simple, affordable way to help you build your credit, whether you're just starting out or need to bounce back from a rough patch. Here's how it works. Kickoff reports to the major credit bureaus to help you establish a positive credit history. And you can get started for as little as $5 a month. No credit check, no crazy interest fees at all, no hidden fees, just a straightforward way to improve your financial standing. And here's why it matters the most, because it is not just about a number, it is about financial freedom and doors opening up for you. Do you want that dream apartment? Do you want lower car insurance and even better job prospects? It all starts with making sure you have a good credit profile. So don't wait. Head over to anthonyoneal.com/kickoff. That's anthonyoneal.com/KIKOFF and start your first month for just as little as $1. Listen, it's anthonyoneal.com/kickoff, KIKOFF. You get it for $1. Let's get you some lower rates, especially in 2025. Oh, shoot. I don't know if we got much time because you just got me excited. Why are you at 10 introducing your daughter to the stock market? When everyone else is saying TikTok, iPad, have fun, but you're exposing your daughter to the stock market at 10, when I guarantee you 90% of the people that are watching this right now haven't even considered that. So I'm curious, why? Let me ask you this question. I mean, well, clearly it's all your money because you're the daddy. But it's like she earned it some kind of way. As a father, why do you think that's important for us to start exposing our kids as young as 10?
Yeah, man, it takes us a while before we master things. The longer we have to master something, especially when it don't matter as much, the easier it is to develop that as a habit. So yeah, she earned her money by working in our businesses. So I pay her. That money goes into her online account.
Okay.
Right? So if I don't get involved, she door dashes that money up. She gonna order kava to death.
Are you
all right? So we had to intervene, like, okay, well, this is what we do with our money.
Yeah.
Okay. You earned it, which is great. Step one, you need to save a little bit and you need to invest some of it. Okay. Saving is for short-term goals.
Yep.
Investing is for long-term goals. So she makes her money, she'll save a little bit, and she'll invest it.
Yep.
Okay. Is she gonna be perfect? Absolutely not. She's not.
Yeah.
But over time, when she gets her first job, being employed by somebody, she'll know that I earn my money, I save a little bit, and I invest some of it. Right? So we're just teaching that skill.
What would you say? Well, I'm curious, because I think some parents right now are going to do that. Because as soon as you said it, I got a little chill. I was like, man, 10 years old. I thought I was the only one talking. I've been talking to them about debt. You got to stay away from debt. My nephews and my niece. You over there making her invest into an app, and she's watching it every day, which means that she understands the importance of that. I'm curious, what was the first conversation you had with your daughter to help her understand what this is? I think some parents don't know how to explain it to their kids to get the buy-in from their kids.
I talked about ignoring the news a second ago. If you're paranoid, seeing your investments decline, but if you're tapped into the news and what's happening now, it can actually be a really good conversation starter. So how I first introduced my daughter to the stock market was actually during the pandemic. And so while we were social distancing and at home, we saw a lot of airline stocks drop. And what I did was I was like, hey, baby, let me show you something. So everybody's at home, nobody's traveling. So airline stocks are down. And I talked to her about the importance of buying low, using bad news as buying opportunities. And I was like, let me show you how to buy a stock online. And we did a video of her buying this particular airline stock online, and it did really good online. As a matter of fact, the airline reached out to us, sent a representative to our house, a whole bunch. It was a whole deal. But we saw something that was in the news.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about it, and I said, hey, let's do it.
Wow.
And that's how we got started.
So you have some airline stocks.
We have some airline stocks.
I don't have none.
Airlines are tough.
I was about to say, is it? I don't get excited about airline stocks. I ain't gonna lie.
It's tough. It's an industry, really low margins.
Yep.
The companies that are doing well, will probably always do well.
Yeah.
The ones that are struggling, I talk about buying low, but the challenge is with buying low when there's bad news is you want to see how there can be some tremendous upside later on. And with some of the airlines, it's just tough to really see that. It's really, really, low margins and not a lot of growth. The growth opportunities are through mergers.
Yeah.
There's some chatter about some of our airlines actually merging, that could create some more upside. But it's not a industry that I'm crazy about.
Man, I'm not too crazy about it neither. But I mean, hey, if I fly a lot on American, maybe I need to buy just, a few stocks just so I can say I'm invested into the company that flies me all the time. But man, I love that you've spent time to educate your daughter on this, and that even during this season, you're still taking the time to take bad news, to educate your daughter, to buy her some stock that at 10, that stock is going to be crazy when she's 40, 50 years old.
Yeah.
Like, that's just going to be, like, man, you got me convicted.
Yeah.
I got a 529 for my nephews and niece, But we don't have no account with actual stock in it.
But here's the thing though. So that 529,
Yeah.
like that's the account.
Right.
Inside of the account,
Invested.
you can have investments.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so depending on who you have the 529 through, they may
Maryland.
Okay.
Yep.
Through Maryland. So they'll have some mutual funds that you can choose from.
Yes, sir.
But you can create another more like self-directed 529 where you can add individual stocks to it.
I think
if you want to, you can add individual stocks, or if you can add other mutual funds as well.
I like it. Because in the state of Maryland, we get to write off the first $2,500. So I was like, well, shoot, would I rather pay the IRS or would I rather pay and sew that into my nephews and niece? Because I don't have any kids. So I was like, well, I'll go ahead and do that. But now since you're telling me I didn't know I can do that inside of, I just have invested into, each one of them have a different mutual fund. Because I'm watching to see which one is going to outperform. Then I'll change them all later. But then now I am going to look into that self-directed one. How I can do some single stocks in there with some good, strong companies that I know that's going to blow up. Because I know that's how. Which, speaking of that, leave that, stay right there, bro. Stay right there. See. This is why we're gonna have Courtney on here at least once a month. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna think deeper in this area. Is that I know the information, but I don't think like him in this deep area. Which is why y'all gotta follow him. Because I'm inside of his investment group on Instagram. The dude is dropping knowledge every single day. He's gonna give it the words of encouragement, but most importantly, he's not gonna give you fluff. He's gonna give you practical things to do. Right? Hey, y'all, this is a good start. Y'all need to be looking at this. But you said something that a lot of people do not know. You said, hey, you have a 401k. You have a 529. But what is it invested in? And I think a lot of people don't know when they go in their jobs. Y'all open up a 401k. Cool, great. The next question is, well, what is it invested in? What do you mean? I just open up the account. When people go into their jobs, is that something they should sit down with a financial advisor for? If they sign up for like your mentorship program, do you teach them, hey, here are the things that you should be investing in your 401k, into retirement funds? Because I think 75 to 80% of the people just open up the account and the money's just sitting there, but it's not invested properly.
I think in 20 years, 20 to 25 years, we'll look back and we'll say one of the biggest financial mistakes that this generation made was not having the appropriate investments, if any, in their retirement accounts. I think we've recently gotten informed to know the importance of having the retirement accounts, but there's still a gap in the education of having investments in those accounts. And I believe in 25 years, we'll be having a conversation on how, millennials and maybe even the generation after them, the major mistake that they made was not paying more attention to the investments that were in their retirement account. There are going to be people that are going to retire. And I've seen this happen. There are going to be people that are going to come to retirement and they're going to say, wow, when I look at how much money I put into this account versus what it's worth now, there's not much growth.
Being invested right.
And it's because it wasn't invested right. So what people have to do, and look, I'll even, there's some consulting that our team is doing now. We'll even give you some feedback on that. So if anybody's interested, like find me through the links that we put in the call notes, and we'll help you with that. And we'll give you some guidance, give you some feedback on what you're invested in.
Yeah.
I did this for somebody that's a part of my community, and I just did it because they were in my class, they're in my community.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what I found.
What you found?
She, number one, she had 12 different investments, 12 different mutual funds in her retirement account, which is a lot.
12.
12, that's a lot. There were several where there was a lot of overlap.
Okay.
She had 3 or 4 bond funds.
Bonds.
And so bonds don't have a lot of return.
No.
You typically do have one in a retirement account.
Facts.
Maybe more if you're closer to retirement.
But it's
3 or 4 is too many.
Yeah.
And when I did a deeper analysis of looking at the returns and what I did for her, I was like, if you would have invested $1,000 in these mutual funds 15 years ago, how much would that $1,000 be worth today? There were only like 2 of them that actually made money. Yeah.
So would you say, because what I'm finding is a lot of people just do like, they'll open up a mutual fund that automatically, depending on who you're with, they'll just automatically put them into a target date fund.
Yeah.
And then those target date funds are not going to grow that much.
Yeah, you would like to think that's the solution. And it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends on who your retirement administrator is. One of the funds that she was in was a target date fund, and the target date fund was one of the lowest performing investments.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it.
Yeah.
So what people need to do is they need to talk to an expert. They need to sit down with their retirement plan administrator if they can get a hold of them. Find a financial advisor to talk to. But like I said, just for your audience, I'm not doing this for everybody. For your audience, you send me a message and we'll talk about what we can do in terms of giving you an analysis.
It's not free though, y'all. We're going to pay him. All right, so whatever his fee is, Courtney's a solid man. He'll do it for free. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell y'all right now, don't waste his time. You know, he got a whole family at the house. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful, beautiful situation. Y'all gonna pay him for his time, right? That bothers me though, Courtney, when you say that, man.
And it's the same for 529 plans.
Facts.
Your audience know 529 plans because you preach it all the time.
Yep.
Some of these people that got the 529 plans, but they didn't select the right investments.
Right. And I think for me, what I'm trying to do is find the right people that people can go to, because I can tell you how I'm investing, but how I'm investing may look different for that person. And I think that's what's very, very important for you all to get with Courtney, to get with his team, to get with a financial advisor or a financial expert that can sit down with you and say, hey, for your situation and for your goals, here's the best way to invest, right? Because I just got into investing in a single stocks. I was a huge index and mutual fund guy, investing properly into those. But now that I'm secure in that area and that's building me very well, I was like, let me go ahead and play around with the single stocks. Let me learn. And I've been learning from Courtney. I've been learning from my brother who's into the single stock world. Like I'm like, okay, I like it. I'd rather spend money over there than on something else luxury right now. But I think it's very, very important for us to really start teaching, okay, cool, now that you have these accounts, even into your Roth IRAs, again, that's just an account, like you said. How do we just properly invest into it? And what bothers me is, I won't say no names of the bank because I don't want to get in no trouble. And Courtney's on here too, so I don't want to get him in no trouble. But I'll never forget, I opened up a Roth IRA and account. They didn't know who I was, but I knew it. Do you know they never asked me, how do I want to invest it? They just asked me for the money and put the money inside the account and say, all right, it's open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the banks don't even want to help me make the right moves. We need Courtney. We need Courtney. And y'all, we gonna have him on here every month. Here's the last thing I want to ask you, bro. And we'll get up out of here. If you had to pick one key metric or headline to watch over the next 60 days to understand where this is headed. Actually, I got one more question after this too.
All right.
What would it be?
The headline is definitely tariff negotiations.
Okay.
That's the market. That's the market right now. So we're trying to figure out, people are concerned, consumer confidence is down.
Yep.
Okay, consumer confidence is down, that hurts the market.
Yeah.
So when we have these deals that are established, that helps us feel some level of security that inflation isn't gonna go higher, the stuff ain't gonna cost more. That is the headline.
Yes.
The headline is, have we struck a deal with China and Mexico?
Yeah.
That's the one you wanna follow.
That's what I'm doing. I use Google alerts. Anything that come up with tariffs, I get the alerts.
In the meantime, if any drama, all right, we had a little bit drama early this morning. It didn't really last long, but any drama, like, hey, buy you some stuff.
Come on, man.
Buy you some stuff.
Well, any new stocks you doing this right now? Is you watching right now?
Yeah, man. ETF that I really, really like. It's actually the ETF that my daughter bought.
Okay.
I think it was last week. It's the semiconductor ETF.
Oh,
It's SMH.
SMH, okay.
So
now explain ETFs for the people. They should know it, but explain it to them again.
Yeah, ETF, exchange traded funds. So this is a type of mutual fund. So there are a lot of companies that are going to be in there. But the advantage of ETFs is they follow some type of index, right?
Yep.
So they don't have a lot of fees, basically. So we invest in ETFs because there's not a lot of fees. So there's not a lot of fees eroding our return, okay? Really easy to get. You can buy them any day, right? Anytime. So we like ETFs a lot. You can have a $1 million portfolio with only ETFs and no individual stocks, okay?
And the return is good on those?
Return can be good if you get the right ones, right? Just like anything else, there's some good, there's some bad, okay? But I really like SMH right now. The reason why I like it is because it's a chip, right? Semiconductors are chips. So think about like, people know computer chips, but what we're really talking about today is like AI chips. And that industry is getting hammered right now because of the tariff talk. A lot of these parts do come from China. There's a lot of concern right now, and many of those stocks are already struggling. Okay, so it's a great time to buy them because the chips will power the future. Okay, we have to have them. Okay, we had to have them. So 20 years from now, we will still care about these companies, and there's so many of them that I like. There's not an industry where I like more individual companies than in the semiconductor industry. No other industry can I say I like 5 companies. Okay, but in this industry I do. So instead of me buying each individual stock, those 5 individual companies, I just buy the ETF. And I own all of them in there.
Y'all better go get it. That's one for free. If you want to learn more, listen, we're going to put all his information inside of today's show notes. He has a free webinar that he's doing actually this week to where if you want to learn how to get into investing, understand the stock market, understand how tariffs are impacting the stock market, and how to see what some people will call an issue and turn it into income, you want to definitely check out his webinar. So we're gonna lock all of his information inside of today's show notes. Check him out, you guys. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna put holistic, the face care. Ladies get it, man. It's amazing. Brothers get it as well because I definitely see a difference in the skin. And do not mess up. I was only using the face wash and the cream, and then you was like, nah, bro, you got to do the in between, which is the what's it called?
Serum.
The serum.
The serum is the one. Yeah.
That serum, boy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was using the face wash and the cream on a consistent basis, but then when I started using that serum, this one young lady, she touched my face. She's like, "Ooh, skin looking." I was like, hold up. I pulled out my phone and ordered some more. Like, you ain't gonna touch my face like that. But yo, we're gonna put that in there. I promise y'all it will be great. Man, what Courtney is doing is absolutely amazing. And y'all go subscribe to his Instagram, join his investment crew. Listen, y'all, I haven't had anyone else on my platform talking about investing like this. And it's because I trust Courtney. He has a bachelor's and a master's in finance. So this man is not just doing it, but he is educated in it. And that's why I'm going back, because I want to make sure that I am not just being an influencer, and I don't want to just put influencers in front of you all. I want to put people who are thought leaders, experts, and educated in this space, because we don't need gimmicks. We don't need a bunch of fluff. And to be real with you, we don't need a bunch of chat GPTs. We need practical information that can help change our lives. And y'all, I'm going to say it here. I'm feel convicted to even have my own conference to where it's super cheap and to where we can bring in the right people. Because just think about this, y'all. How many of you all, honestly, put in the comments, let me know. You have a 401k, you got a 529, you got a Roth IRA, you got a mutual fund, but it's not invested right. Well, this is the kind of stuff that if one of you get in his group, you're going to learn. But I want to teach that practical stuff at the conference and get you connected with the right people. So, man, I'm working on it. We're going to launch all the information here soon. But y'all, thank you. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 1 million subscribers. I'm still like in awe that, man, we got 1 million of you all rocking out with me and close to 1 million downloads a month on the podcast. Like I'm grateful of the community that we've been able to build. And so hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like and share this with a friend who can use this information. And y'all, go get that ETF SMH, and go let Courtney know you bought it and subscribe to him so you can learn how to get some more. All right, we'll see y'all soon. Peace out.